Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another topic, that is web credentials in Oracle Apex. And today we will discuss why we need web credentials. Is it really something good, or we can skip these web credentials, and how and where we can define. Then at the same time we will see code examples as well where we can use in RESTful services calls and the maintenance of web credentials. So let's proceed. Web credentials. This you can even read on Oracle Apex where you define web credential. It is there mentioned, but I have kept over here because I wanted to highlight three key points over here, or you can say key takeaways. So if you see here on the top, you can connect REST enabled SQL, other external REST services. Apex securely stores and encrypts. That means when you save your keys or credentials using web credentials, it will also make secure and encrypt as well. And then the second takeaway is credentials are stored at the workspace level. So there is a point over here. When you define, because you will have a workspace administrator, right? So you don't need to give these credentials or keys to every developer. You will define at the workspace level, which will be used in your application. And next is, when you import application, it will check the static ID. If it is already there in this workspace, then it will not create. The good thing is it will not bring your keys or passwords in the export file. So when you will install or import your application, it will prompt you to enter these information. Web credentials. Now I just listed few key points or features which are linked to Oracle web credentials in Oracle Apex. It will encrypt for sure, storage, centralized management of API keys and passwords, because it is now at workspace level, right? Not in every application. Reusable across multiple Apex applications. Easy maintenance with single point update. So let's say, for example, a password got changed or you need to update, it got expired, you will change, and in all applications or implementation of this web credential, you don't need to change, it will be automatically updated means it is single point to update. Prevents hard coding sensitive data in the code. Yes, for sure, because when you will define web credentials, your username and password and these keys, one time you will enter, it will be encrypted as well, but you can't see. I will show you in a while on the screens. Supports basic OAuth, bearer token authentication. So all these are supported. Role-based access control for usage. So let's say, for example, uh, workspace administrator is entering or maintaining all this information. So no one else can see, or if they will change, then it will not work. Right? So you need the existing information, otherwise it will be invalidated. Integrates with Apex web service and REST data sources. I will show you the code in a while, how it is getting integrated. Keeps confidential out of exports and backups. So it will also not export this information. So you can't see in the export file as a text. Simplifies deployment across environments. So let's say, for example, from development test environments, you are moving to production. So when you will import application over there, it will prompt for your production key. So there you can enter your production information, not the test or UAT informations, right? Web credentials. Web credentials are under workspace utilities. If you see here, it is like this, web credentials. Okay. Manage secure credential to connect to REST enabled SQL or other REST services. So whenever you have to connect to any external REST enabled services, and there is certain security for sure for that, right? It can be basic, it can be OR2 or any. So, or you have a key, right? So that you can define in this. Okay, I just took this code, which is PL/SQL, just to give you a brief about it. So normally what you do, if you have a bearer key, or token, bearer token, if you see here on this in the header, we are using authorization bearer, and this is your key, right? Here you will replace your key. And in down in your call, this header will be passed, right? So this key will be passed through this header in this call. So now the question is this secure? Any developer can see this, because this will be a plain text, right? Just like you are seeing replace with your key. And for example, this code is used in multiple applications. Now if you have to change this, let's say for example, from test to production, you are moving application there, so you will have to change everywhere. Okay, if you are keeping in, let's say for example, in a package PL/SQL, all the code still fine, you can find replace. But what if you are having in the processes as well in the pages? So this will be a trouble for you, right? And it's not secure. Anyone can see. Another way, now we are going to use web credentials in PL/SQL. So in this, instead of header, we have this parameter p underscore credential underscore static underscore id. And here I've defined a web credential OpenAI API key. This is not the key. This is the ID of the key or the web credential. So a developer or no one can see what is the key exactly, or he or she can copy and use somewhere else. No, you can't, because here this is a definition. So now when you will call this service, it will take this ID, it will find the key from the web credentials storage, and then it will use in this call. So this is, you can see, a secure way, right? Secure, confidential, whatever you can call it, right? Then web credential you can also use, let's say for example, if you are creating generative AI service definitions, so there you can also assign the created web credentials, just like this. Okay, let us move to the demo. So this is my apex.oracle.com, the previous URL. Now it is oracleapex.com, because Oracle has moved to this URL. So if you will be in this, let's say for example, let me close or move to this, you will click this app builder, then bottom you have workspace utilities, all workspace utilities, and here you will get this web credentials, right? So I will go to web credential, and let's say for example I have created one. Let me show you a coherent one. So this is the name. This is, you can share your friendly name. This will be your, you can call it primary key, or when you will call in the PL/SQL, you will be using this static ID, right? You can name it whatever you want, but this is the key or the ID, static ID, which I was using in my code as well, right? Authentication type. This is the authentication type. So now if you see here, in Oracle Apex web credentials, we have basic authentication, we have OAuth 2 credentials, OCI native authentication, HTTP, URL query string, key pair. So let's say for example, if you are connecting Oracle Apex with your Oracle Fusion, you can use this one. If you are connecting to Oracle Cloud, you can use this one, or any third party RESTful services, you can use this one. Okay, credential name, this is authorization, because I'm passing this in the header, so I have to use the same one. And if you see here, I can't see now key, it was entered, it is no more there, right? I can't see it. So once you will define it, then it is, you can call it hidden, encrypted. So, and then this is my URL where I am using it. So note that changing this value requires re-entering the client secret. Okay. So if you will change this one, client secret need to be re-entered. Prompt on install. While defining, you can say that when you are installing, let's say for example, importing an application, it should prompt or not prompt to enter a new key, because in export key will not be exported, right? Let me show you a new create screen. Here it will be like this. So let's say for example, here I'm going to enter, let's say for example, my basic authentication. What is basic authentication? Basic authentication, username and password. When there is authentication with username and password, it is called basic authentication. So I will call it BASIC, basic, AUTH. Let's say 01. I'm just entering. This is my ID. Basic authentication. This is my basic authentication, right? Okay, client ID or username. So here I will enter my username. Let's say for example, my username is ERPstuff. Here I will enter username and password 2 times, right? So let's say I'm entering over here. Still you can see with these options, right? But when you will create, after creating, when you will come back, you can't view. Okay. So https ERPstuff.com, just giving you an example. These are not the valid URLs or anything, but see here, prompt on install. So it will prompt on installation because this is a basic authentication. So it is by default, it is on, right? So this is your basic. So let me save it, right? Let me close this one. Okay. This is my basic. Okay. Let me review it. Now, if you see here, my user so passwords are no more there. I can't see. Okay. This is how it is. Okay. Now let me show you the other options. So for example, if instead of basic authentication, I'm selecting OAuth2. So in OAuth2, all these parameters need to be entered. Okay. And just save. And if you see here in this prompt on install, here it is giving you option, but in basic it was not giving you the options. OCI native, OCI user ID, OCI private key, OCI tenancy ID, all this information you have to get from your Oracle cloud, and then you have to enter over here. This is the same I had showed you, HTTP header, and then URL query string, credential name, credential secret, where it is. This is when you are having this URL. In the URL you add over here like this. So this is URL query string. Key pair, public key, private key, verify private key. So you will enter 2 times private key, and that's it. Right? Okay. Now one way is you can create from here. Another way is when you are defining any service or request, when you will come to this authentication required, let's say I'm just on authentication required, I was defining one service. So here it says credentials, enter new credentials. See, so many got created because this is my test instance, so I'm just playing with this. So when you will say enter new credential, you will select here, you will enter information, and then when you discover and create this request, it will automatically create this web credentials in your credentials storage. You don't need to create again there from here, right? It will automatically create over there. So what I did, let's say for example I am in shared components. You can come here REST data sources. This is now in application shared services, right? And here you will come here, create data source from scratch, right? Simple HTTP name test. I'm just giving examples. These are not the correct one. So let's say, for example, let me take credentials here. Let's say, let me take query. Something like this. Wait a moment, right? If it will take, otherwise it might say open. Let's see. I just wanted to show. Okay, it is taking that one. Create new. See, remote server create new. Okay, no problem. Next, I wanted to show this this place. Yes, authentication required. Now there are two ways. If you are already having Query web credentials saved over here or created, you can come here. You can select that one. Let me find. This is credential. ERPstuff query. That's it. So developers or who else has to use it, they can just select. They don't know what is the key, what is the username, what is the password, and that's it. And administrator of your workspace, he or she will be changing or updating or whatever, managing that. So that's it. Otherwise, I will be doing this. Enter this. Type. Let's say for example it is basic. I will enter username and password. What it will do, it will create a web credential in the web credential storage. Okay, so it's not just one time. So this is, you can try. And nothing here. So what is a key? I just wanted to keep it at the end. Whenever you get any web service to consume or call, you can have such key. This is not completed, it's not showing. So the company or the website, they will provide you a key, or if it is basic authentication, then it will be a username and password. So there are different ways of doing this one. So you will copy this key from here, right? And then you will save here, credential secret. So it is just like a password. Another thing you have to keep in mind, that since it is a bearer token, so you have to type bearer space and then key. Otherwise, it will give error, because in the HTTP header, you have to pass bearer word as well, right? So it will be something like, let me try somewhere here so you can see here, bearer, bearer space, you can say key. So key can be, let's say, I don't know, the copied one. You will enter copy and you will enter here and then copy here. So this bearer space is required, otherwise it gives error, right? I think we have covered all the possible ways to use web credentials, and yes, it is really important. And to manage, you can come to web credential, you can see the usage where something is used. See here. So this is the use of query web credential. So here it is selected. See here, it took me directly over here. Then let me go back, and history. History is when you change or update anything, so then it will show you utilization and web credentials. Let me show you. See here, these are created using the application which I was showing you, key pair. See, so if you come here, public key, private key, and this, that's it. OCI. This was open. This is also header. Wait. Uh, Google API key. See? Your query string. So there are different ways of defining it, right? I think you have learned something interesting and really required to use in your applications development, especially when you are consuming external web services and to secure their security information, right? Please share your feedback and keep visiting us with for the new videos. Thank you very much and Allah Hafiz.